Hello everyone, Courtney here from How to Loom Your Dragon. Welcome to part 3 of my design tips for the rainbow loom. This video is going to be kind of short. There's just a few things that we can just kind of go through here. First of all, you should get a nice storage compartment for your bands, like to keep them organized. Okay, this is an example of mine. I got it off of Amazon. It has 64 compartments. Each compartment holds about a pack of bands. It was about $30 and it's very worth it. Okay, so it's very nice. It keeps them nice and organized, and then any extra packs I just kind of keep below. Okay. So you have a nice organized storage compartment for your bands. Now in my design tips, I'm obviously going to be doing a single loom design, okay, to start out. And once you get the hang of how to do single loom designs, then you will pretty much know how to do the double loom ones and triple loom and so forth. Okay, so what we want to do is, I showed you this picture the last time. I'm deciding to design Rodney from a book I wrote. Okay, you have your picture in front of you, hopefully a side view and maybe even a front view of the animal that you want to design. And all we're going to really do is just write down a few things here. So I usually do this all in my head while designing, but it might help you to write it down if you have not done this before or designed before. So as I teach you how to design, I'm going to be using my designing techniques. So it would be nice if you use my design techniques to give me a shout out if you post a picture. Okay, you know, you learned from me. It would be nice to get some credit for helping you learn how to design. And usually I can tell by looking at people's pictures if, you know, they use my techniques, because it's very obvious if they do. Okay, like my stomach attachment technique a lot of people use. A lot of people use my head design technique, where you do different layers in the head and attach the edges. Okay, so it's very, very obvious when people use my techniques, so definitely give me a shout out, please. Alright, so pretty much what I'm going to do is, obviously you want to make sure you have all your bands in stock that you're going to need, okay, for your creature. Now, what we want to figure out is what parts of the body are going to be flat and which are going to be three-dimensional. So, let's write down flat. So obviously, what looks flat here? The wings. I'm also going to write here one layer. Okay, the wings are flat. The tail tip is flat. Okay, maybe the spikes are flat. Okay, spikes, horns. Okay, meaning they only need one layer. Okay. Now, if you don't know what I mean by needing more than one layer, you can check out some of my other videos, such as Saphira, and maybe my wolf and tiger. See how I bulk up the legs of the animal by using 2 layers. Okay, and then I stuff it usually, so it looks bulky. So obviously I would do that on this creature because he's got bulky legs. So I do double layers up here and also here, okay, and in the head obviously. Now the spikes we can just do single layers using double looped or single bands. Okay, that's pretty obvious. So 1 layer, that's pretty much that. Now 2 layers, such as the legs that I do in my other videos. Obviously the thighs, so the top of the legs, thighs, forearms, or upper arms, whatever that's called up here. So this is going to require an extra layer. Okay, so what we do for that is we loom a layer, take it off, and then as we loom the rest of the leg, we attach that layer onto it to create a 3D upper portion of the leg. Same thing here. So also the head obviously is going to be, I'm going to put 2 layers or more, because the head is actually going to be 3, because the top of his head is almost double the thickness of the bottom jaw. And if we want the mouth to open, you know, we have to kind of do them separate anyway and attach them at the edge. So the top part of the head is going to be 2 layers and the bottom is going to be 1, but they're all going to be attached here, obviously. Okay, so the head is going to actually be about 3 layers, probably, I would guess. Now for the body, we're going to be using my body and stomach attachment technique. So obviously it's going to be 3D because we're going to do this part first and then do the stomach and then attach the stomach and stuff him up so he can be 3D. So I'm just going to write the body because we're going to do the main body, and then the stomach is another layer. Okay, so 2 layers for that, for the body. And now the spikes and horns, yes, they are all 1 layer. The toes are also going to be 1 layer, okay, obviously, and the legs. Okay, so just make a list here. It looks kind of bad because there's not a space here. Ah! OCD. No, I don't think I have OCD, but that does annoy me. Okay, anyway. So then you also want to figure out what part of the creature you're going to use double looped bands and what part you're going to use double bands. So double looped bands are obviously skinnier and the double bands are thicker. Okay? Or triple bands. These are double bands, these are triple bands. And see how the triple bands are stiffer. Okay, they don't bend around as much even when you like wiggle it around, whereas the double bands, they kind of flop around. Okay, so if we're doing a single layer on the bottom of the legs, obviously we're not going to do double bands, we're going to do triple or more to make them nice and sturdy. Okay, otherwise they'll be floppy. Okay, so just kind of little tips and tricks like that. Okay, so double looped bands obviously stands for double looped. We're going to be using those on the spikes and the horns and the chin spikes. I'm just going to write that too. Chin spikes and the toenails. Now for the toes, they're pretty skinny, but I'm probably going to end up using mostly the double looped, but maybe in here where the joint is, I might end up moving it up to triple bands to give the toes kind of like a change in size, and then I'll go back down to the double looped, probably. Like, there's no rule for that. You just kind of want to be creative about that. You could do it all double looped or double or whatever. So I'm just going to write part of toes. Okay, the teeth are going to be double looped, obviously, because of how small they are. The nostril, obviously. Most of the tail, so end of tail. And we also want the wing spikes. Oops. Now, I'm probably going to change these wings a little bit and add a little bits of extensions when I do the thing on the loom. So I'm just going to put wing. What are those even called? I don't know. Ridges? Ridge. I'm just going to do wing ridge tips. Because I usually call these the ridges. And then these are like the claws. I don't know. Whatever they are. You know what I mean. Okay, and then the rest of him is obviously going to be double. Okay, except for the legs, we're going to do triple. Okay. If you're doing another animal, probably going to do triple on the legs. Unless they're really thick, then you want to do double layers, like we're going to do in the thighs. Okay, but the rest of him we can do double, and then we do the stomach attachment and make him 3D. Okay, so that's what you want to pretty much figure out in this video is, you know, where you're going to end up using the double looped and the double. Okay. Don't worry about any horizontal bands and when to use the double looped or double horizontal bands. We'll go through that when the time comes. Okay, hope this helped a little bit. So go ahead and write down whether you'll need the double looped or the double for what parts, and what parts of your creation are flat and which parts are 3D. Okay, everybody, see you for the next video.